With Italian design and a Japanese heart, the Calibro bagger from Moto Morini was born ready to hit the road in style. But is it worth the investment? Is Moto Morini reliable? In this video, you'll find out all that and much more, like technical features, performance in the city and on the road, fuel consumption, insurance cost, price, available colors, and of course, my honest opinion with the pros and cons. If you're new here, I'm Amanda Pagliari, and this is the most charming motorcycle channel in Brazil, which also brings you the most comprehensive motorcycle videos. So go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Why? Because besides not missing the upcoming videos and reviews, you also help me reach the milestone of 1 million subscribers. I'm counting on your help. Moto Morini arrived in Brazil in 2025 when it was introduced at Festival Interlagos. In fact, Amandinha was the one who tested it riding on the track at the racetrack. I'll leave the link in the description and in the card. Go watch it later. But after all, what is Moto Morini? Moto Morini was founded in Italy in 1937 by Alfonso Morini. Since then, the brand has gone through some ups and downs, almost went bankrupt, and in 2018, it was fully acquired by a Chinese group. However, the heart of the brand remains in Italy, with the design and also the engineering and everything else still based in the city of Trevozio, very close to Milan. However, the manufacturing is actually done in China. And in Brazil, Moto Morini has several families, such as the adventurous Escape, the Seimesso, and the Calibro family, which consists of two versions, the custom and this one here, the bagger. And it comes just the way you're seeing it, with this big touring look, with this windshield here, Batwing style, integrated into the bike's fairing. It even moves together with the handlebars, which is really cool. There's a deflector here to keep the wind from coming directly at your face and also to provide better aerodynamics. The saddlebags are also part of the package, giving it a really adventurous and interesting style. The saddlebags are removable. However, you need tools to do that. You get two keys, one to start the motorcycle and another to open the two saddlebags. You just turn it and that's it. You have access to the saddlebags here. The cool thing is that it has this leather trim with Velcro so you can clean the saddlebags. And it also has a rubber seal to prevent water from getting inside. And they have a capacity of 19 liters. One cool thing about this motorcycle is the design. You see more rounded lines, which I think is traditional, right? In custom and touring bikes. Yes, clearly you can see that it's inspired by Harley Davidson, but what surprised me the most about this motorcycle was the finish. So I see here that the parts fit together really well. It's not 100% plastic nor 100% metal, so you have a mix of materials here. You have here, look, the tank is metal, but you also have some plastic fairings. The good thing is that it helps reduce weight. Here, look, it's all plastic, right? Here too, the fender anyway. But the finish, the way the parts fit together, the paint here is a pearlescent black, so when the sunlight hits it, it reflects and looks really beautiful. You see the premium finish, right? The side cases have the same paint. And also the name, right? Morini, which you can see here on the Moto Morini, on the grips, on the tank, in several places on the motorcycle. You can see the attention to detail, the finish, the refinement with the brand. And here on the side, you see cars. And also the symbol, right, of a gun sight, making reference to the name because it also means caliber. It has full LED lighting, and the detail here, look, for this very beautiful round headlight, in my opinion. Look how cool. You also have LED turn signals here, as well as the tail light. And the headlight, see, only works with the bike turned on. I'll turn it on here, look. Big LED beam here, it lights up really well. The seat is two-level, so we have the rider's seat here and the passenger's seat back here, okay? The seat's finish is very beautiful. Here in the central part where you actually sit, there's a material that's kind of non-slip, and back here the material is thicker. You can see the stitching detail, it's very beautiful. Here's this handle so you can maneuver the motorcycle. I'll get on here so you can see. Take a look. From the seat to the ground, it's 72.5 centimeters. And as you can see, this is still a lot of bike for Amandinha. I'm 177 centimeters tall and I can put both feet on the ground without any difficulty. Interesting detail, forward foot pegs, they're not so far forward that you have to stay here, right? But they're not centered, so you have a position that, in my opinion, is comfortable, right? You can maneuver, keep your control more toward the center of the bike, not so far forward, but at the same time, this leg here isn't so far back, so I like the riding position. Now, riding in the city and on the road, I'll share my impression with you. The foot peg is rubberized for both the rider and passenger, including the Morini detail. I'll sit as the passenger so you can see. Yeah, the seat here, guys, it's not that amazing, right? Accessories are available abroad, like a sissy bar backrest you can add here. It's not available in Brazil yet, and currently passengers have nothing to hold on to. So for the passenger, staying on for a long time is a bit complicated, okay? But I think the rider's seat is more comfortable here. Can you take a passenger? Yes, you can, but for hitting the road and traveling, it will be a bit uncomfortable. In general, the motorcycle is very comfortable. Here is the position of my arms. You can adjust the handlebars here. There are even some markings so you know exactly where to set it, and it fits right here on the tank. It's really cool. So the motorcycle really, at least for me, fit very well. So it's a good idea for you to go to the dealership, get on the bike, and take a test ride to see if it really fits you. I didn't have any problems at all. Look here. It's easy to maneuver here. However, it's still a heavy bike, guys. It's 200 kilo of dry weight, right? Not counting the fluids and the fuel tank, which has a capacity of 15 liters of gasoline. For the brakes, we have a single disc with a 320 mm diameter and floating calipers with 2 pistons. At the rear, a single disc with a 255 mm diameter and floating calipers with a single piston. And both wheels come with Bosch ABS. The front suspension is a conventional telescopic fork. It's not inverted. You can't even see it here because it has this cover, this rubber boot. It helps give the bike some style. And it also protects your fork from rocks and dust. So it protects the fork more here, okay? But it's conventional. It has a diameter of 41 mm and a total travel of 120 mm. In the rear, we have 2 springs with 100 mm of travel and preload adjustment with a tool. And the wheels of this motorcycle match the style, right? Here you have the diamond finish. Very beautiful, in my opinion. They are made of light alloy. 18-inch rim in the front, 16 in the rear. And they use tubeless tires, 130/70 in the front and 180/65 in the rear, or 180/70 in the rear. You can choose the tire size. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video that the heart beating in this bike is Japanese, and it really is. Basically, it's a copy of Kawasaki's 650 twin-cylinder engine, which has liquid cooling, and it's used in the Ninja 650, the Versys 650, and the Z650. And also in the Vulcan 650, which ends up being its competitor. However, to give the touring bike more power. The engineers took this Kawasaki base engine, 649 cubic centimeters, and increased the piston stroke, resulting in an engine with a larger cubic capacity. Resulting in an engine with 693 cubic centimeters, which produces about 69 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. And also a maximum torque of 6.0 kgfm at 6,500 RPM, and it comes with an assist and slipper clutch. The assisted technology makes it smoother when you pull the clutch lever here. The slipper clutch prevents the rear wheel from locking up when you downshift abruptly, and the gearbox has a 6-speed transmission, in other words, 6 gears. And the final drive uses a toothed belt, not a chain. And the key isn't on the motorcycle's dashboard, it's actually here on the right side for you to start it. And the dashboard is round, very retro. Minimalist, so here you have a big gauge. With a tachometer here on the outside. In the middle, some indicator lights. With a neutral indicator, high beam indicator. Moto Morini, written right in the center. ABS indicator. And here at the bottom, we have a small LCD screen. That's where you get the onboard computer information. So you have the speedometer there. This gear means the current gear, the engaged gear. There's a gear indicator, fuel gauge. Right here on the side, there's the engine temperature, and here you have the total odometer, and here on the left side, you can change the information on the dashboard. So you come here, and trip A, the partial trip, and total trip, the total odometer. In other words, you don't have trip A and B or 1 and 2. It's just the partial odometer that you can reset. And here on the button at the bottom, the second button here, you can do it. You can also change it here from miles per hour, which is the American usage, as well. It changes here in miles, and here in kilometers. This is used in Brazil, in other places around the world, in Europe, and this is used in the United States. So this is the information you can change, okay? And only this information is shown here. The instrument panel is really very minimalist. It doesn't show fuel consumption information, nor any other information, like battery or connectivity information. So here on the left-hand controls, we have the horn. Then we have here, the headlight, high beam and flash to pass. Here, turn signal to the left only. Now here, on the right side, you also have another headlight button for you to keep only the parking light on. Turn off the headlight. Here, for you to cut off the engine power, and also the ignition. And here's the right turn signal button. And here on the left side, we have
uma tomada USB.
the cover. Here it's rubberized, so that rain doesn't get in. And now that I've already shown you everything about the Calibro Beggar, it's time to ride it through the streets of São Paulo and also hit the road. And if you're enjoying this video, if you think it's super complete, how about leaving a like? And at the end, if I helped you choose this bike, subscribe to the channel. Now, hop on the back with me. Look, it does well for riding in the city. Of course, it's wide, right? For motorcycle touring, then, you have to stay here. Maneuvering, but surprisingly, the handling is good, okay? Now, the potholes here are tough, right? So, some craters like this, look, then it really gets tough. There's no way. That's why I think it fits much better on the road, right? Where technically, right, the asphalt can be smoother, but I can tell you guys, in the city it surprised me. So far it's not overheating. There's also the issue here, look, with the lane splitting. Of course, aside from the size issue, right? Its acceleration, the low-end torque is good, huh? I liked its low-end torque here, look. Look. And no, what's interesting is that, look, it stays just like a Harley, right? With a turn signal switch on each handlebar, as if that's cool, right? Negative point. Now I'm going to talk about the positive and negative points about it. Look, can I tell you guys? Man, what a fun bike, huh? It's an entry-level bagger. I think that's what's cool, right? Where are you going to find a bike with these features? Belt, right? Touring, right? This bagger bike here with these saddlebags, where are you going to find that for this price, right? I'm talking about brand new, of course, not a used one from way back when, right? So, I think a brand new one today with these features, really cool. The entry-level one really is the Super Meteor, right? You have the Super Meteor. If you get it with the saddlebags, invest in the saddlebags, you'll have a bagger, so to speak, right? That's it, guys. This turn signal is annoying. I mean, I know it, not just think it. There's no automatic turn signal cancellation. But that's it, guys. Enough riding around the city. Now let's hit the road. Look at its handling. And I'm not even leaning that much, so I don't scrape the saddlebags here, right? There's no use. Custom bikes are low. It has saddlebags. Oh. Don't scrape, okay? So it doesn't act like a lever and send you flying. Oh. Wow, 140 in third gear, it's in fourth gear now. Just like that, so fast. Oh my God, but there's a little vibration here on the foot peg. So let's shift up here. Yeah. Better not to speed up too much. I don't know if you noticed, but it lost a bit of stability. So I think a steering damper would work well here. I'm not even going to speed up that much because our asphalt is really damaged and that affects the bike's stability. So I'm not even going to race with this bike, guys. It's a shame I couldn't go full throttle just out of caution, you know? From the front of it here. But it's not a bike for you to race. It's not a bike for you to go very fast on in any way, right? It's for you to go touring. But if it's a bike, after all, we want to ride, right? But okay, that's my impression. If you haven't, or if you have, leave your opinion down below about top speed and riding fast. Maybe it's just this unit for me, this front part here, right? It looks like a Stingray. It's more about looks than efficiency because for me it throws everything at my chest and kind of concentrates the wind blast, right? If the wind were more spread out, maybe I would feel less turbulence on my helmet. So for me it hits my helmet, which affects the experience on the motorcycle, right? Yeah. Maybe with the Calibro Custom, I wouldn't even be having all these problems, right? But anyway, surprisingly, this seat here is comfortable. The lumbar support here made me feel really good. So, well, I like the seating comfort. The seat isn't that wide, but I found it comfortable now. And it's blowing all the wind straight at my helmet, right? Its engine isn't explosive. It doesn't have that strong low-end torque. Instead, it's more progressive, but that's not good. I think I didn't like the engine. It's weak, isn't it? It just keeps building up, right? And when you take off, it's actually strong, you know? You can feel the power. But don't expect that exceptional torque, okay? I like this motorcycle's engine. Before wrapping up the video with the pros and cons, I want to give you a tip if you want to have this motorcycle in your garage. But you don't have the money to pay in full and are thinking about financing? With the interest rate so high, how about paying with special installments of 529 reais? Look at that, and 87 cents in the accelerated consortium with no interest and no down payment, okay? Did you like this tip? So, contact Pablo right now using the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. It's his personal WhatsApp. My friend, are you going to message him now? Hi, I came from Amanda's channel. I want the motorcycle and that's it. He will come up with the best strategy for you, okay? No matter what your income is, he has the right plan. It's really cool and he can give you some tips. You can get your credit faster. A group financing plan can be really good as long as you do it with the right strategy, paying low fees, and of course with a plan. I myself have a property, right? By the way, home financing plan, I'm planning to build my house. And you can make your dream come true too, whether it's the Calibro bagger, another motorcycle, a Moto Morini, another brand, or even a car, right? Or even the property of your dreams like Mandinha is doing. Don't waste time, call now, otherwise you'll forget, you'll miss this opportunity and later you'll regret not having started earlier. So go ahead and contact Pablo through the link in the description or the QR code on the screen. And don't forget to mention that you saw it here on the Motoplay channel because this reduced installment is only for my subscribers. Regarding fuel consumption, you can expect an average of 19 to 21 kilometers per liter if you ride it a bit more aggressively, okay? However, if you ride more calmly, it can reach up to 25 kilometers per liter. Do you have a Calibro bagger? Write down below the fuel consumption you get with it. And about the insurance, is it expensive? Is it cheap? We know that this style of motorcycle isn't really targeted for theft. Already pointing out a positive aspect, but guys, get insurance no matter if you have a scooter or a custom or a big trail. People are taking everything. If you leave a broom at the door, they're taking it. If you leave a broom or a mop, people are taking it, unfortunately. So my advice is to get insurance. The good thing is that at Protect Me Insurance Agency, the price is really low. Seriously, you won't believe the price of insurance here. There are two options, okay? I got the theft and robbery coverage option and the full coverage option with a deductible. You won't believe the price. Look at this. The best part is Protect Me only works with SUSEP registered insurers. It's not vehicle protection, it's government-backed insurance. So, you'll really have your coverage, right? You will be reimbursed in case of theft, robbery, or total loss. But look, I got a quote here for a 41-year-old man and the zip code of Mogi das Cruzes, which is where I live right now. And look, several insurance options came up, okay? All is in order with the insurance companies. If you have questions, use the WhatsApp button at the Protect Me brokerage. And look, I'm going to pick this cheaper one here, which covers theft, robbery, and fire. The amount came out to RAPE 100,064,00 RP, 1,052.00. This amount is annual. You can pay in installments, okay? 10 payments of 105 Riaz, all right? So, Amanda, do you want full insurance with fairing? There's also, look, full insurance, okay? From Porto. You get compensation at 100% of the FIP value, right? Normally, you have partial collision, vehicle repair, deductible of our 10,147.00 third parties, right? Property damage and bodily injury, and also towing for 300 kilometers. Oh, I forgot to mention that for theft and robbery, you also have 300 kilometer assistance, okay? So here you have everything that theft and robbery cover, but then vehicle repair and third-party damages. The amount, guys, is 597.00 for 1,443.19, guys. This amount is annual. You can split it up for less than Ru 00. You already have your motorcycle completely covered for you to ride, including not just for theft and robbery, right? But also, if you're on the road traveling, got a flat tire, something happened, you need to call a tow truck. Have you ever called a tow truck? Guys, the price is absurd. What you pay for a whole year of insurance is the same as the price of a tow truck. So get insurance with Protection Brokerage through the link and also the QR code that's there. It's much more affordable. Oh, and the link already has a discount, okay? So, whether you use the link or the QR code, just point your phone and it will pop up right there. With or without a coupon, you're going to get the best insurance deal in Brazil. Are you unsure which insurance is right for you? Just send a WhatsApp message and Protection will answer you. With Protection, it's easy, no bureaucracy. You can do it on your phone. You click, get a quote, and it's done. I'll discuss the pros and cons now. Remember, Mandinha doesn't have all the answers. Feel free to agree, disagree, or share your thoughts in the comments. Just be respectful. But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Have you subscribed? So, feel free to comment as much as you want, starting here with the positives. The design, guys, I know it's a design not everyone likes, but I have to admit to you that it's really beautiful. The design of this motorcycle for its style really stands out. Even people who don't like the more bagger style look notice it. People look because it's a very beautiful bike, so the design is a positive point. Another good thing is the finish. You can see the paint shine in the sunlight and how beautifully the parts fit together. The foot pegs and finish show great attention to detail, with everything blacked out. It's a totally black bike, which is really cool. Both the frame and the foot pegs, the controls, the levers, the mirror stem, everything is really well finished. Attention to detail, that's a positive point. You can feel it. You're on a premium motorcycle, and that's really cool. Another good thing is the super bright headlight. I tested it on the road, and it lit up so much it could reach Mars. It practically lit up the universe. The very good lighting brings safety for those who ride at night. The seat surprised me. I didn't expect much until I rode it, but it really has very soft padding. It's not one of those big wide seats, but the padding is very comfortable. So, a positive point here for the seat. The Calibro Beggar surprised me and it didn't scrape on speed bumps, even with a passenger, so that's another positive point. Another thing I really liked was the brakes. They're really safe and precise, the one brake calipers, right? Which is on a lot of motorcycles really cool, and of course Bosch ABS. So the brake system, I had no trouble with it. The belt final drive is a highlight on this motorcycle. Custom fans like it. We see it on Harleys, but we don't see it on the Vulcan, for example. People ask for it, right? But over there it's a chain, and here it's a belt. So that's a positive point. The engine, right? Speaking of the Vulcan, the engine is the same as the Vulcan, right? So, we have a reliable engine here based on the Japanese Kawasaki engine, which has already proven itself over time. So I think that's a positive point because it brings more confidence. Another good thing is that this motorcycle is good for people of short stature. So yes, it has the short people seal of approval. That's a really good thing because not everyone can ride every motorcycle. Unfortunately, this motorcycle here is good for those who are shorter. Another good thing about this motorcycle is the interior finish of the saddlebags with this leather lining, right? It's faux leather with removable Velcro for cleaning, and the finish extends inside the saddlebags, not just outside. That's a plus. I mentioned that the engine is reliable, but I forgot to add this positive point about the engine, which is that it has low vibration. That's really nice, at least for me. I don't like engines that vibrate a lot, so this engine feels smoother. Okay, it's true that the foot peg vibrates a little, like I told you when riding it, but in general, it's nothing compared to other baggers we have on the market. So, in my opinion, that's a positive point. And it's easy to ride combining the handling and the engine, which isn't intimidating, right? It's more linear, so it ends up being an entry-level bagger. That big bike you see and think, wow, it must be so hard to maneuver in the city, it gets hot and all that. No, this bike here is more accessible. It's an entry-level bagger. And I think that since it's easy like that, of course, guys, it's a 200 kg bike, right? It's not a bike for beginners, like you just got your license and buy it. However, I think it's an accessible bike and it will... For fans of this style, you don't have to go straight to the more hardcore, more expensive model. So I do think it's accessible. So this topic, right? Easy to ride, it includes all of that. The USB port here, close to the handlebars, is really nice. We like it. The assisted slipper clutch doesn't cause hand fatigue and the gear shifting is precise. And the last item has nothing to do with the Morini motorcycle, nor does it have anything to do with the Calibro bagger, right? Specifically, it has to do with our country. And I say that it's not a common target for theft. And why is that important? Some motorcycles make you a target, but that doesn't mean yours won't get stolen. I'm not saying that, or even that it can't be robbed, but what I mean is that there are other models that make you feel threatened. But with this model here, I rode in São Paulo at night and I wasn't afraid. So that's really cool. For those who live in areas where we know crime ends up taking over, this type of motorcycle ends up blending in or even attracting less attention from criminals. So that's a positive point, and now I'm going to talk about the negative points, starting with the front of it, which is missing a steering damper. I got it up to over 170 with it, and at times, of course, with our bad asphalt and everything, I felt the front a little unstable. So I think with a steering damper, it would bring more safety. If you ride at 120 like I did most of the time, I didn't have this problem. But a steering damper is never too much, it was missing. Regarding the engine not having that much torque at low revs, in my opinion, isn't really a negative point, it's just a characteristic of the engine, but I'll point that out. Why? Some purists and those unfamiliar with the bike often misunderstand, so I always say it's important to state the obvious. So, the characteristic of this engine here isn't to have an explosive start like other cruisers on the market. So just so you know, okay? So the engine, it has this characteristic, but on the other hand, it doesn't vibrate, it doesn't get hot. But if you're looking for a bike with that explosive power of classic cruisers, those old school V engines, you won't find that in this motorcycle. Which doesn't mean it's bad, on the contrary. I really like this engine, it's a pleasant engine, but I need to point out that it doesn't have low-end torque. One thing I thought was a letdown from Moto Morini. How could you put this on a premium bike? Where's the hinge here? The cover? In the aviator style, you end up holding the cap in your hand when you refuel. I thought that was a downside, okay? At least it has a key, right? Better than the rare ones. The rare ones don't even have a key. If I unscrewed it, at least there's a key here, Ms. Moto Morini. But I still think it's missing a better system for the fuel cap here. Do you agree? Disagree? Comment below. Another bad thing is that to adjust the spring preload here on the rear suspension, you have to remove the side cases. Why? Because you don't have any adjustment knob, and that has to be a negative point in my opinion. Because the preload, like, oh, I'm going to take a passenger, I'll adjust the preload, then you have to go through all that trouble. It's a whole process just to make this adjustment, right? So that's a negative point. Or Moto Morini has to decide, right? Either they make the side cases easy to remove, right? Which is a negative point, you need tools. So you have to get the tool, take off the side case here to adjust the preload. Actually, both of them, right? Because there are two springs, it's a twin shock, so you have to remove both side cases and it's a hassle. Either they put the adjustment knob on the suspension or make it easier to remove the side cases. Honestly, the fact that you need tools to remove it isn't even that bad. Why? Whoever owns a bike like this always rides with the side cases. It looks odd without them, right? The bike even looks a bit too skinny without them. However, I think it would be easier for Moto Morini to add a preload adjustment knob there to make things easier. And still talking about the rear end, this motorcycle isn't great for carrying a passenger the way it is. For a quick ride around São Paulo, giving someone a lift is no problem. But for hitting the road, it gets a bit tricky, okay? Since it comes with this tiny seat for the passenger and the turn signals are separated, one on each side. That's a downside and another thing I didn't like. The dashboard could be improved by providing more detailed information. For example, you don't have the range, right? Which is the distance you can go. You also don't have the average fuel consumption or a partial trip meter, right? Besides trip 1, you don't have a trip 2, right? And you also don't have a battery indicator. I think in the future, Moto Morini could add more information to the onboard computer. Another downside is the suspension, okay? They're stiff, there's no way around it, and the front one isn't inverted, so that could also be considered a negative point. But I would group everything under suspension, and of course it doesn't have long travel, so avoid rough roads just like 99% of the bikes. The suspension is bad. It bottomed out there, but it didn't bottom out with me, okay? Also, I didn't have a passenger, right? I'm not that heavy, but it's pretty stiff, okay? So there's a certain discomfort with the seat. It does help keep some of the discomfort from reaching you, but avoid potholes. It's meant to be ridden on smooth asphalt. The last downside is that Morini still hasn't managed to get the original accessories approved here, like the sissy bar, right? The other handlebar, the mini ape, and other accessories that are available abroad for the Calibro bagger, we still don't have here in Brazil. I asked Moto Morini about it and they said they're in the process of getting them approved. So, anyone buying it now will have to wait a bit. At the dealership, check if the accessories are available. At least the sissy bar, especially if you'll often have a passenger. And do you have more positive or negative points about the Calibro bagger? Write them down below.
Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for new videos.
And it's available in a single color, total black. Preço sugerido a partir. And the notification bell. So, what did you think of this motorcycle? Comment below. I really liked it. Another brand in our market. If you want to know more about Moto Morini, I made a really cool video up here. I also left it in the description. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Why? You'll be the first to know when other Moto Morini motorcycle tests are released. If you have any questions I didn't cover in the video, leave them in the comments and I'll reply. Of course, right? Become a channel member if you can contribute to help me out. There are giveaways, there are several advantages, early access, link in the description. But if you can't be a member here, right? At least subscribe to the channel. So that's it. See you next time. Kisses.